All right. All right. We are live.
Hey there,
Yes, we
Mr.
are
Cat,
live.
Mr.
Welcome,
Brenda.
everyone. Welcome to this edition of
Yeah, we're doing a podcast, so you gotta be a little quiet, man.
your edition of Everything Real Estate with your host. I am Maurice Muhammad from Progressive Realty in REMBI, host of Everything Real Estate. This is your property management version of the podcast, and it's dedicated to property management and REMBI and property management. Um, Real Estate Brokers Manage Real Estate Brokers Management Institute. Our the motivation and reason for this podcast is to. So the question is, who is REMBI? What is it? Why are you flooding my timeline with all these reminders, etc.? So why should I even pay you any attention? So we are here today to answer those questions and any questions that you may have as it relates to who REMBI is and what REMBI does, and as what we do in our position in the real estate industry and in the real estate market. So it is a rainy COVID day, a rainy day. COVID is still dominating the thoughts and the minds of many of us, right? So we intend to bring you valued information to help you better your real estate business. That's what we do, what we're intention in. We intend to pour into you and add value to you. And more importantly, we intend to serve you. So if you are currently a property manager interested in becoming one, if you are an owner of multiple units, you're in the right place. So join us weekly for beneficial information. We are here currently weekly, and we're going to be talking about property management and answering your questions. We are here to serve. We welcome your questions. We welcome your comments, and our purpose is here to serve you. And we're here to bring you information as it results to real estate and property management. My co-host here is Wally Stearns. And we have a guest today that should be joining us very shortly. So we want to start out and we're going to talk to you a little bit about, what is RIMBY and what we do and why, why we exist and why you should have an interest in RIMBY. And lastly, I wanted to bring to your attention that the 23rd of July, we have a webinar, and it's going to be free to members. It's right there on your screen. You can click on it. We have an Eventbrite set there. You can register. You can go there to register. Go to Eventbrite, put in RIMBY, and you can get your free ticket. And it's free to members, and there is a cost to non-members. So go and get your tickets while we still have seats available. And at that event, we're going to answer questions on, such as, what you need to do to own your own company, how, what type of the best property management software, just to name a few. So um, I just want to ask my first question of Wiley and ask him, to those that may not have never heard of RIMBY, can you tell them why and who RIMBY is? What a little bit about who is RIMBY, Mr. Stearns.
REMBI is, REMBI is a division of the National Association of Real Estate Brokers, which is the largest minority black real estate professionals in the country. Uh, NAREB has been around for quite some time. NAREB mission has been to promote the underserved, underprivileged, and minorities throughout the nation. REMBI is an organization, a subsidiary of NAREB that began in 1968 because there was a lack of participation of black property
So there was a lack of
number of properties scattered throughout the country, and they needed some property managers that understood property issues within the minority community. They had property managers, but those managers were not considerate or tune in to the needs of people of color. So they approached a group of NAREB brokers and asked them about property managers that were certified. And when they told them they were, they said, okay, you guys need to set up a certification program. And once you get the certification program set up, we will utilize you all to do property management for a lot of the HUD-owned properties and VA-owned properties country. And that's really how NAREB came into existence REMBI came into existence under NAREB. Now,
So,
if you are not sure whether you want to.
so look like he lost his feed. Weather's bad. Internet is acting up. So, it sounds like from what I okay, there we go. He's back. So what I understand, REMBI was established as a
There's a
result.
lot of real estate professionals out here managing properties, but they are not licensed or they are not working under a licensed real estate broker. And that could open you up for mega lawsuits.
Mm-hmm.
I will stop there and take some questions.
Yes, sir. Okay. So, so that leads us right into what our webinar is going to give you insight about. And one of the things that we will be learning in the website is one of the questions is, do I need to be a broker to do property management? That's going to be one of the questions, and that's going to speak specific to your state. So, Mr. Stearns, what would you say about that? If that was the question, what would you say to that? Just to, without giving the whole class away.
Well, you may not have to be a broker to do property management, but most states, and you have to go to what the state requirements are for your particular locale. They do require that if you're doing property management, either you be a broker or you working under a broker, but you can't just be a licensee, but your broker is going to be the contact person if that's the case in your state. If your state requires you to be a broker, or sometimes they may just require that you be a licensee, but you are again working under your brokerage firm.
Gotcha. So, for those that may have a desire to do property management, that is something definitely you want to check with your state to make sure that whether or not if that's a requirement for you to be a broker or have a broker that's willing to allow you to do property management in the firm. So a few other questions that we plan to answer is, we're going to solve the problem is, how do you start your management company? Do I want to manage multifamily? Do I want to manage government housing? Do I want to manage commercial, etc.? And do you struggle with choosing a property management software platform? So those are three of the questions that you can count on being answered in our webinar that we plan for July 23rd. Again, you can join. You can go to our Facebook page, or you can go to Eventbrite and get your ticket. Again, it's free to members, and there's a small fee for non-members. So if you want, it makes better sense to become a member and join the free webinar, because you also have access to all the webinars that we will be doing free. Again, our intention is to serve you with property management information, to take time for those. We know that a lot of people in this COVID time are taking time to reset and look at ways to make sure that you recession-proof your business. And property management is one of those ways of recession-proofing your businesses, if any. Would you care to speak to that, Mr. Stearns, on what your position on property management? Do you think that it's a way to recession proof your real estate business or portfolio of business?
Yes, I agree. It is a way to make your business recession proof. Just keep in mind, during COVID-19, you may not be able to show property like the traditional methods in the past, but property management, individuals still need a place to live, or they're currently living in an apartment building, or if they're on business, they are operating their business out of a shopping center that requires a property manager. So basically, or even when the economy is at a standstill or it's really kind of upside down market like we had several years ago, when most of the properties out here were basically REOs and controlled by large property management group, that was the time for you to get involved in property management, because if you were involved in property management at that time, you were still a receiver of properties that kept you busy during the downtime when maybe your sales were not there. There was not sufficient money to lend for new buyers and returning buyers and all type of buyers. The money may have been drying up, or the underwriting restriction was very tight that most buyers of color probably did not meet the qualification. So if you were involved in property management, it probably didn't affect you that much at all. It was business as usual. In fact, you was doing more business than you normally would have.
Facts. Definitely agree. And we had that example back in 2008, between 2008 and 2010. Those that were doing property management stayed in business and really went were not affected as much as those that were not did not have that stream of income as a business source inside of their business. Um, so for the person that may say, why REMBI? Why REMBI? Why would I go to REMBI to get a designation? And REMBI offers two designations: the CRM, which is Certified Resident Manager, and the CREM. And the Certified Resident Manager is received once you acquire and complete two classes. So after completing two classes, you become a certified resident manager. So I like it to equivalent it to one that is doing a residency as a doctor. So and you become a certified resident manager. So you're equivalent to doing a residency until you complete the last two classes. So for those that may not know and may say, well, I want to do property management. Why REMBI? Why should I why should I take REMBI as a class and become a property manager
Well,
through?
I'm going to take the
Did you change them or did you fix them? Huh? I couldn't change them. So you didn't
Did
change
you freeze up?
I fixed them. I got the work
Did we lose you?
no one else, because if you are part of REMBI, NARAB, when you attend our convention, our seminars, you get an opportunity to meet property managers that are managing property on a nationwide standard, that are looking for property managers in certain neighborhoods. And because we put you in front, directly in front of those people, you don't have to fight 100,000 folks to get an interview with someone that's in charge of property management for, say, HUD, Freddie Mac, Fannie Mae, VA, even some of the national companies like Berkshire Hathaway and Century 21, you name them. We can get you a first-hand audience with a lot of those folks. And the other thing, there's opportunities out here within your county, within your state. We just need to show you how to take advantage of those opportunities. And that
Absolutely.
we can teach you through our classes.
Absolutely. And it's not a lightweight class at all. Those that may have not have heard of RIMBY and may have not have heard of it, hands down, um, I'm going to say I am biased, but what I'm saying is the truth. I've taken the courses in every last one of them. I've taken a lot of courses. I have a lot of alphabets behind my name from taking classes, and I have not taken one that is added value the way that the REMBI courses have. Um, and those that and that's what these weekly podcasts is intended to do. We intend to bring those that have taken the course and can share their experience, so that it's not just from one sided. Because my experience may not be the same that another person's experience is. Um, One of the other benefits that I like to say that RIMBY provides for you is that you can reach across the country if and get assistance where you may not be able to get assistance from those in your local area. You know, you may not be able to get assistance if you're struggling. You're trying to become a new property manager. You're a new property manager, and we have Miss Jean Weber. We're going to bring into the stream as well, and we will get her input also. So if you are a new member, new business owner to property management, if you become a part of the RIMBY network, you have access to reach and make phone calls and call across the country and get assistance where you may not have been able to get assistance. So to become a RIMBY member, you have resources. You get resources as a result of being a member. You have access and information to learn how to manage government properties. You'll walk away with that experience. Have not yet seen any other place that offers that and provides that experience in their classes. So that's one of the other benefits. And I'm just gonna. That's enough for me. I'm gonna let one of the other panelists maybe offer something to that to why RIMBY. So the question on the floor, Ms. Weber, is why RIMBY? You know, if someone has an interest in property management, um, and we're talking about our July 23rd webcast that we're going to be giving away free to members, and a small nominal fee to those that are non-members. Why REMBI? You know, what will be the benefit for joining REMBI and taking and becoming educated by REMBI and through REMBI? And that was really the question.
Are you giving the question to me right now? Is that what you're?
Yes, ma'am. I was asking. Yep.
Oh, I'm really delighted to be able to answer that. First of all, because I have been a member of RIMBY for a very long time. But when I first became a member of RIMBY, there were a lot of male property managers that were managing property, and they told me, well, you're really going to have to step up in order to do this. I said, well, if you guys are willing to help me step up, then I'm willing to learn. And that was one of the things that got me interested in RIMBY, because I figured if there were a lot of male property managers, they must have been making money because they were staying there, and I was going to learn what they had to teach me. And we went to some places um, that was questionable about
I have
whether or not I
eaten.
wanted to
Yeah.
manage it, but I did think that
Yeah.
in looking at that property for the owner, I thought about what I could do for that property for them with my real estate experience and how I could help them. So I went to the RIMBY classes, and they began to show me not only about fixing up physically, because I had to learn about appraising, and that was my first course, but they also began to have helped me look at how much rent should be and how much I was spending in order to make the rent be that amount. So whatever I wanted to make for the owner, and then it became a good business for me because it helped me to stabilize my business by having a monthly check, which was definitely a help. So that again helped me to see that the money that I was spending for a REMBI class was going to be returned to me in the profit and the learning that I was going to be able to have for the owner, and the way that I was going to be able to manage that building, the upkeep and the betterment for the community and the people that were living in those buildings. So, it was a win-win situation for me all the time back in those times. And as we moved forward, I could see the buildings getting better, the neighborhoods changing, and the people began to think more about the property that they lived in and what other things could happen in the neighborhood. So it was really a good um, I'll call it a marriage between me and REMBI, because I love the property management part of it, but also my instructors were very willing to work with me and help me to move forward. And I could pick up the phone anytime and call one of them and ask them, well, okay, how do I get a good rate of return on this property? Because the rent, and we could look at the rents and tell, okay, well, the rents are kind of low, but these are the kinds of things that you can do right now. And that was really a help for me to know how to do that. And moving forward, taking the REMBI classes and getting my certification, because then it was something that I could put up on the wall to say that I am trained and I am experienced, and I also am hooked with an organization that is going to help me learn more and be up to date.
Thank you. Thank you. Now that's good information. And that leads me into the next question I wanted to ask about, moving forward, you mentioned, and classes as it relates to RIMBY. We have been talking about making some possible potential hybrid classes, and we're have in the works an intro to property management course that may or may not become a prerequisite to become a RIMBY member. And for those that may be asking the question, well, how do I become that, and how can I get a class? Because that's one of the questions that's always asked. How do I get a class, and how can I get my designation? I'm ready now, and I want to start. So um, how and what do you see for as far as the classes, and how can we use this virtual environment to make that a reality for people coming, that may have a desire um, to become a member and become designated and get their designation as a RIMBY member?
That's my question too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wally can answer. You want to answer, Mr. Stearns? Let's take Mr. Stearns first.
Go ahead.
You passing it, Ms. Webb?
No, I can answer that question. I just wanted to give somebody else a chance to talk, because
Okay.
I'm always excited about REMBI.
Okay.
One of the things in this virtual environment that we should be taking an opportunity to do is, people always ask you about the numbers, your rate of return, and then we have a class that is exclusively about how do you get the numbers, a good rate of return on your real estate. Real estate is probably one of the best returns that you can get right now, because if you look at what the bank is paying on saving your money, it's not very much. It's almost like if you put your money in the bank and you go back and look at your money in the bank 10 years from now, it's pretty much, unless the interest rate goes higher than they are now, it's pretty much going to be the same amount of money you put in there. But if you're investing in real estate and property management, especially, and you continue to look at it and work with it, the value of your property is going to go up. And even though your tenants may change, you're going to get a good rate of return on the properties if you're taking good care of them. So that's one of the things that I always look at with property management. And that was one of the things that really got me interested in is do the numbers. You go to the stock market, you do the numbers. So when you start looking at the REMBI numbers that you learn how to do in property management, you can keep your numbers up, and it will help you to have another revenue stream. And that can be done virtually. You know, it does not have to be a classroom environment in order to teach you how to do the numbers and look at something that and see if it's really a profitable investment.
Nice. Thank you, Ms. Webb. So to our point, to that point of June 23rd, we plan to answer at least 3 of the questions that you may be struggling with currently for our June 23rd free webinar to members, and a small fee to non-members. We want to answer, how do you start your management company? Do I want to manage multifamily properties? Do I want to manage commercial properties? Do I want to manage government housing properties? Another one of the questions is, do I need to be a broker? How does that work? Like Mr. Stearns had alluded to earlier, there's a lot of individuals functioning, working as property managers without being a broker. And, that's going to be state specific, or having your broker's blessings, should I say. And, one of the other questions that we want to offer answers to is, what property software platform do I choose? So you'll be able to get all of that and more. You can go to Wild Apricot. You can go to Eventbrite and type in REMBI, and you'll be able to register there. And for the free class, the tickets are free, and we'll reach out to you and get you into the class that we're preparing for, and get you property management ready. It is owner friendly. If you own property, it's landlord friendly course. So that being the case, I wanted to just put that out there again, and you can go to join, and you can see here at REMBIWildApricot.org and get more information if you have an interest in becoming a member. So again, our intent really here is to educate you on those that may have never heard about REMBI, who we are, what we do, and why we do it, and what we here. And our intent, we're going to be here weekly to inform you on the importance of what we do and why we do it. So that leads me to my next question is, REMBI have taken courses, usually part of, and we've been to colleges and universities are often tied to the classes that when we take them. So why is that so important that we tie the course to a university, and why is it important that we and most of them in historical Black universities at that? Can you speak to why that is and the importance of the history of it? Because all of this is, history. REMBI was established in 1968. So those numbers make a difference. Those are milestone years. 1968 is the milestone year. We just had 50th anniversary. So there's history there. So the question is, I just want to ask if you can answer the importance of tying it to the historically Black colleges and REMBI and NARAD to give us some information on the history. While he's not is he there, Mr. Stearns? Let's see.
So that's my question again.
Yeah, I think he's frozen, Ms. Webb. But yes, it's on you again.
Okay, well, one of the things, the very first class that REMBI had was at the University of Chicago, which was good because it was also looking at the possibility of as a curriculum in the University of Chicago. Now, one of the things that we've done going forward at all of the universities, in fact, we did a lot of classes at Youngstown State University and at Cleveland State University. And those universities looked at our curriculum, and we were able to, working with the universities, get continuing education credit. And real estate property managers, we're responsible for having a certain number of elective credits for renewing our license. And we were able to work with those universities because the curriculum and the coursework that we did enabled us to qualify. And we were able, in some instance, to get 20 hours of credit because, of course, we were working over a period of 3 days. So that would allow us to be able to put the university's name as well as REMBI's name on the certificate. And so that's like getting 2 bangs for your buck, because when we submitted RFP or request for proposal for a job or management position, we were able to submit those certificates with it. And of course, that added more credentials and credibility to the coursework that we had taken through the REMBI course. So it was exciting to be on the campus, to do the work, because we did do a lot of field work in order to get those credits, though, because sometimes we found ourselves staying up to midnight and beyond in order to get the information that we needed and do the research, because we knew that we were going to have an exam at the end of the work, and we had to qualify with a certain score. So we teamed up. It was fun, but the whole thing was unexpected, and a lot of the students started to refer to it as, oh, we're going to go to that property management weekend boot camp. So having the certificate and taking the REMBI course really helped to increase my bottom line.
Yep, same here, and I can agree. Second that as well. And the fun part is to be able to recreate that. Now we're challenged with REMBI is now challenged with creating that environment in a virtual experience, and whether it be a hybrid experience or a full virtual experience. And we want to, present that to you and make it possible for you to become designated and to become a REMBI designated, whether it's the CRM or the CREM, utilizing the virtual environment. And that's what we're challenged to bring to you. And that's our task, to serve you in that capacity. And that's what we're here to do. So that's our time. We are 3 minutes over our time, and we will be doing this on a regular basis, and we'd like to bring to you valued information and information that you can benefit. We welcome your questions. We welcome any questions and comments that you bring. As we build this platform, your input is important. We will provide for you the information for you to be the best property manager that you can be. The curriculum is par none hands down, is the best curriculum that I have seen as it relates to property management. Mainly because, if nothing else, you walk out of there Monday morning with, I'm going to use the word faith, with the faith that you can do it. And it's because of the fact that you have done it over the weekend. That makes a difference. It's a difference when you go through a course and it's just lecture series. There's statistics that tell you 10% of what you read, you remember. There's another statistics, and there's statistics, and I don't want to give you bad numbers, but there's statistics that show that what you read, you remember 1%. What you read and write down, you remember another percentage. But the highest percentages of them all is what you do. and what you read and what you do. And that's one of the things that you take away from a REMBI course is you get to do it. If you haven't been to a court and you haven't put anybody out and taken anyone to eviction court, you will have done that over that weekend. If you haven't put together an RFP to shop for a 200, 300 unit project or apartment complex, you will have done that after that weekend. So you leave there equipped with the tools to be able to handle um, properties that you would probably have not have even gotten an opportunity to handle or even thought about it um, handling. So that's one of the biggest benefits that I think is probably more important than any book learning that you've ever done is the takeaway that you can walk away with it, with a knowledge and with a faith and a confidence that you can do it because you have done it. We've been around a group of individuals. So that's it for myself. I want to just remind you, you can go to our REMBI Facebook page. The link will be there for joining, where you can join the free webinar for July 23rd. You can go to Eventbrite, get your tickets, and you can go to the link that's right at the bottom of the page, rembi.wildapricot.org, and become a member. And just leave your questions. REMBI, you can go. We also have a network, a referral network that's on our Facebook page. Join it. Ask your questions. And we want to make that a nationwide network so that wherever you are in the city, wherever you are in the country, if you're a member and you have a question, you should be able to go to that network group and get answers to questions you may have. That's the intention for that, and that's our purpose. So we're building that, and that is there for those of you that are already members of the REMBI Facebook page. You can go there and join that group, become a member of the nationwide referral network. So if there's someone that calls and they may need a property management manager in California, and we have someone that we can refer that person to. So, but they happen to be a REMBI member. Of course, you have to be trained and have the credentials to be able to handle that business. So go to Facebook, join our referral network group, and go get your tickets for our class July 23rd, and go to our website and become a member at rembi.wildapricot.org. That is it from your host, Maurice Muhammad, and Ms. Jean Weber. If you have anything from our panelists, you have anything, last words, Ms. Weber? Would you like to take us out?
Well, I'm just happy that they're coming aboard and listening to this, but it's more important to register so that you will get the information firsthand as a member.
Yeah.
Membership is important. And as he's talking about the virtual training that we're going to do, you will not be able to get the benefit of that virtual training if you're not a member.
Right.
So we're going to begin to change that a little bit, because many of the case studies are going to be a part of the webinar. And we're going to try to make it easier for you to stay at home and get training.
Yeah.
So that is so important.
Yes.
You become much more familiar with what is required in your own state and in your own town.
Yes.
So we're going to make those webinars sensitive to where you are.
Yes.
And we're going to assign an instructor that will be able to work with you in that particular area.
Right.
So we're going to make this REMBI a little bit more exciting than it has been. Yeah. And even though they called it a boot camp before, I don't know what they're going to call it this time. But we know that it's going to be exciting for you and you want to come on board.
Yes.
And thank you for having me today again.
No, thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. We're going to have you back more. As long as you're willing to come back, we're going to have you back. You have a wealth of information to share. Definitely enjoy your energy, and thank you. Thank you to Mr. Stearns, and we'll look forward to talking to you next week. We'll be back next Friday, and you can check in with us to get the time and what time exactly. We'll be back with you next Friday with more information, and we're here to serve, and that's our purpose. And thank you for joining us. Thank everyone for joining us, and we appreciate your time.